What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Matt Ryan Show. Your host, Ryan Gooden, sitting alongside Mr. Matthew Hargrove. We have got a jam-packed show. Not going to get into any introductions or how you doings. It's straight business today. We have got a lot of basketball to talk about. And unfortunately, we just had to watch OKC have a late victory against the Denver Nuggets last night. Thoughts, comments, concerns on the rest of the series?
Yeah. There's been many thoughts in my head.
Mm-hmm.
There's many concerns. I'm convinced the NBA is rigged. Uh,
Is it because of the series?
no, the NBA draft lottery.
Okay, had to
So
specify. Yeah, you can't just. Yeah,
no, we're good. We're good.
we've got a lot to
What?
talk about today, so that is one on the dock. We'll throw that. We'll throw that.
Yeah,
They're in the
it's been a lot
circle.
to talk about. A lot to talk about.
Yeah, they're up next. They're in the circle, and we've got Giannis on deck. So we've got plenty on the docket today. I think what we'll start off with is a lot of these series are starting to wrap up, and we're starting to figure out who's going to be in the conference finals. Obviously, the Indiana Pacers have already punched their ticket. They pretty much dog walked the Cavaliers from the entirety of this series. The Cavs never showed up. Even at home, they lost all three home games. They never looked like they had life, even at those home games. Just not a good team. I understand they were hobbled, but guess what? It's the playoffs. Everybody's hobbled. I'm convinced Donovan Mitchell is the shooting guard version of Russell Westbrook, and nobody can tell me any different. I just this team is not built for winning in the postseason, and something's got to change. I'm not sure if it's trading Garland or if it's going away from the two bigs. I don't know what it is. Something's got to change. You can't have two guys in your backcourt that aren't willing to defend. And even though Donovan Mitchell has kind of prided himself on that, he hasn't been a good defender in recent years, and Garland's never been. So the Cavs got some changes coming. Shout out to the Indiana Pacers. We'll talk a little bit about them because we talk about the winners first, and I just ruined that by talking about the Cavs for 5 minutes. But shout out to the Indiana Pacers. They've been consistent. I don't know. I mean, they've got a guy in Halliburton. They've got a secondary guy in Pascal who knows his role as a second star, and they just got role players. And they just I don't know how they do it, to be honest, but they're back in the Eastern Conference Finals, second straight year.
Yeah, I think given the field right now, they have a legitimate shot to definitely get there. I mean, I would be shocked if Boston comes back and beats New York, but I definitely think as well as New York's playing that Indiana can definitely win that series. Now the finals, I don't know. It just depends on the matchups, depending on who gets there in the West. But they have a legitimate shot. Last year was hard to take that team seriously, and it's not because of them. It's just because of who they were playing. Because Boston was just a lot more dominant than everybody else. But yeah, I don't know what it's going to take for a Donovan Mitchell team. We've gotten to that point where, um, you know, he has been the best player on every team that he's been on, and for whatever reason, they just have not been able to make it to a conference final. So, um, I don't know. I don't know what's going to take because this Cavs roster was historic. This was one of the best Cavaliers teams in the regular season. So, um, and also too on the playoffs, it really does go to show you. I think the playoffs are hurting the regular season that much more because it just seems like in these playoffs, the regular season really has not mattered for the
I was just about
seeding and
I was just about to
or,
say that because
or anything.
the media always got slammed because they never talked about the Cavaliers, even though they won. I don't know, what was it 64 games or 60? Yeah, because the
Yeah,
Thunder
something
won
like yeah.
68 or something crazy. So it's like everyone's like, oh well, you got to talk about the Cavs. You got to talk about the Cavs. This is why nobody talks about the Cavs because they're not ready. They're not there. They're not even close. Regular season means nothing anymore. I mean, OKC. was Game 5 was a do or die for OKC, and they won 68 games on the year. When the Warriors won 73, they were in a Game 7. They had to come back 3-1 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So it's like regular season doesn't matter. It's when you get to the postseason, you're right. It's devaluing the regular season even more than it already has in the past. It's hard to take the regular season, it's like your entire season as a whole serious when anybody can win 60 games anymore.
Yeah, it's just nobody was threatened by the Cavs, and then you see how well the Pacers are playing, and it is called just so differently. Like, and I understand that, but it's like where we do see that huge. It's like too much of a difference between how it's being called in the regular season in the postseason, and you can see where it affects teams
The
and their
problem
game
is
plan.
is the regular season, not the postseason. In my eyes, it's
Yeah,
the fact they call it so nitpicky in the regular season that anything and everything is a foul. I can go through countless plays in the playoffs where you go, that'd be a foul in the regular season. That'd be a foul. Just simple things that they just let go. And that's how it should be in the regular season. Just quit calling everybody that throws their head back for, a foul on the defensive guy. Like, just quit allowing players to manipulate foul calls in the regular season, and you won't see this drop off that you see in the playoffs. I mean, you're going from teams scoring 120 or 110 every night to they're scoring 90 and they're struggling to get there. It's a drastic difference, and mainly because you don't get 40 free throw attempts or 30 free throw attempts a night like you normally would. So, you know, I think it's more in the regular season than it is the playoffs, but I agree. It's been a different level of change as far as the difference between the playoffs and the regular season has just been so drastic that it's mind boggling that that teams are even able to adjust to that, really, because I mean, you could watch an entire playoff series with guys that normally get foul calls. Obviously, you got Shea, and if Trae Young was in the playoffs or James Harden, just watch how differently they're officiating the playoffs in the regular season. Go watch Steph Curry for a game in the playoffs, and tell me that in the regular season he wouldn't get 50% of those foul
yeah,
calls. Like, it's just insane.
yeah. It's brutal because we've had conversations about the regular season, and I've gone off about it and about how they let too many teams in, and that's caused it not to for people not to care. To be honest with you, I am fully convinced now that I think there's too many rounds in the playoffs after watching.
I think we should go back to, or not back to, but go to either a 3 or 5 game series for the first 2 rounds, and then you can have the Western Conference Finals or the Conference Finals and the NBA Finals be a 7 game series, because
Yeah,
I mean, that is more important. But a lot of these teams, like, yes, it was fun to watch Detroit and New York play a 7 game series, but it was equally not as fun to watch the Orlando Magic play 7 games against Boston, and it was
yeah, that
semi close in that series, but it was still unenjoyable because you knew the outcome at some.
yeah, well, that's why I wish it was like the '90s where we had 6 teams on each side. And
Are we old?
what do you mean?
We've, I mean, we're like, oh, we hate to change the night. We want the '90s back. We weren't even born in the '90s, and we're like, we want the
Well, I
'90s
mean,
era back to where we
no, it
can.
just it makes more sense. I mean,
I know, it's
like
just people are gonna be like, y'all are old
think
heads.
about it. You have 6 teams. You give the first round. It's kind of like NFL, how it used to be in the NFL. The 1 and 2 seeds get buys, and then you do the first round 5 game series. So the 1 and 2 seeds get a week off, and I'm pretty sure they
I
would
don't know if that
really
hurts or
enjoy
hurts them.
enjoy that.
Yeah,
So
I
I
think
mean,
I think you in the near future, because obviously that is so unlikely to happen because they lose so much money with all the playoffs and TV ratings. But I think something that could happen and maybe needs to happen if certain things were to fall this offseason like we think they will, where you see a seeding ranking instead of conference rankings. And like what I mean by that is you don't see the top 8 from the Western Conference. You see the top 16 teams by record in the NBA make the playoffs, and you match up that way, where 1 and 16 plays each other, and then you've got 2 and 15 all the way down to the whatever it is 7-8, 9-8 game.
Yeah.
That way, there's more parity. You'd have the OKC being the 1 seed, you'd have Cleveland being the 2 seed, but you could also have an Eastern Conference, Western Conference matchup in, I don't know, say round 2. And it's based off who's the best team, not which conference are you playing in. Because at some point, conferences have stopped mattering. And we're getting closer and closer where all these guys are just going out west. And the Western Conference is so bogged up that it should just be the 16 best teams in the league.
Yeah, I'm also, this is probably going to be another old take. I'm sick and tired of hearing the fatigue thing. Like, oh, they're fatigued. They're fatigued. It's like they're playing basketball. Like, I understand they're tired, but I just really don't want to hear how a coach be like, my guys are tired or something like that. It's like, come on
It's
now.
so weird. They've played 82 games for as long as I've been alive and way longer than that. And yet, all of a sudden, we're starting to hear guys complain about being tired. It's like, y'all are supposed to be in the best shape out of any player. You're the best athletes ever. And you're complaining about being tired. And we're not even into the Western Conference Final. We're not into the conference finals yet.
I don't know if, like, I just feel like when I
LeBron went to
listen
8 straight finals. You want to talk about a guy who's tired? That guy was probably exhausted. I didn't hear that guy one time complain about being tired.
and
8 straight finals.
yeah, well that's why, like, I when I've been listening to podcasts and stuff, or like press conferences, like fatigue is being brought into all of them, and I'm like, what are we tired for?
Yeah.
It's the playoffs. Like, I feel like I don't know how you get tired when you have that much adrenaline going into a huge playoff game. Like, I understand it takes a lot to play, 40 minutes and then have one day off, but like,
Also, if you're a coach, don't play your guy 40 minutes a game. I mean, at some point, you have to rely. Like, there's a reason your guys are tired, and it's not because the way the NBA set up, because it's been that way for 50 years. So how about you change the way that you approach the game? And Tibbs, let's not play guys 48 minutes a night and then wonder why they're breaking down by the end of the series.
yeah.
Now, we'll move on to them because it's their turn, and I brought them up. It's an easy segue. The New York Knicks, I mean, obviously we're going to talk about the Tatum injury, but I want to talk about the winners first, and more than likely, the New York Knicks will win that series as of recording on May 14th. Hopefully this is not some hot take, but they have dominated this series in clutch time. And it's not even like Boston has led most of the series in time-wise, but when it comes down to the fourth quarter, the New York Knicks have just kind of dominated that stretch, and they were winning before Tatum got hurt. They were up 9 with 3 minutes to go. There was zero sign that the Celtics were going to come back from that game. So, can you blame the injury? No. Now, that is a big injury. He tore his Achilles. Jason Tatum did, and it's going to set the Celtics back at least a year because he's probably not going to come back next year at all, if not towards the end of the season. Not to mention they're going to have to get rid of guys like Drew Holiday or Kristaps Porzingis because the contracts just don't work like that anymore with the first and second apron. So it could get interesting for Boston fans. You had this window, and it kind of feels like it got shot up a little bit.
Yeah. I'm not a believer in they're done. Like,
No.
well, I've seen, like,
This
people
team is
being like
done.
they need to rebuild, and
Oh, no.
I just think that's ridiculous.
They'll probably
Some of
win tonight. I mean, the game 5 is tonight. It's in Boston. You would hope that everybody would step up, and kind of honor, play for JT or whatever they're going to say to really get the motivation in those guys. But you hope Jaylen Brown has a good game. He hasn't had a good series. But this team is still, even without Jason Tatum, this team could still win this series. It's not insane for this squad to win this series, come back 3-1 without their best player. It doesn't help that you don't have their best player, but it's not like they're they're not the Warriors where Steph's out and you're like, well, damn, this team is not the same at all. You know, it's still the Boston Celtics, and they still have 4 All-Stars on their team as of right now. So I don't. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's the
blowing it up
thing
is
too
crazy.
is Tatum really until that game 4, or I mean he
Yeah,
played well game 3, but uh, I mean those first 2 games you can make the argument he lost those games for him with all those step back threes that he was shooting. So I do think it is a it's not fun whatsoever. I mean I love Jason Tatum, but it's interesting to see like what the Celtics do without him because there's always been that argument who's better between Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. And to be honest with you, I've always believed it was Tatum because I think if you think about it right now, if that was Jaylen Brown who went down, I still have more belief in Boston than I do right now with Jaylen Brown leading the way. So, as I was thinking about that last night, I was like, well, if Jaylen Brown got hurt, so I guess that makes me more of a fan of Jason Tatum. Or I guess I think uh he is the true number one option, or
that's
the
a
the
fair way
best
to look at
player,
it.
or
Yeah,
he's the best player. He's the best player on the team. So, but no, you're right. I mean, Pritchard had an amazing game the other night. Drew Holiday can go off. Derek White's unbelievable. So, yeah, you're exactly right. They can win that game tonight, and then I don't know how they're going to go into MSG. That place is going to be rocking for Game 6, but they win that Game 6, then it's going to be very tough to beat Boston in a Game 7. So
wow,
yeah,
for
they're
2 wins, yeah, it's gonna be like you better if you're New York, it better be done in 6, or else it could get real ugly. Not saying that they would definitely lose Game 7, but you don't want to be in that spot, and I don't
yeah.
think they will be. I think
No, I think the Knicks are going to finish it off. But I thought the same thing when Boston came down. They were down 3-0 to the Heat and they won 3 straight games,
yeah,
and then they had that Game 7 in Boston, and I was convinced that the Celtics were going to win that night. And Tatum rolled his ankle in the first quarter, and he wasn't himself, and the Heat just kind of ran away with it. So, but yeah, it's what a what a weird what a weird decade of basketball that we might be having, but it's good, right? Because we just don't have consistent winners. And there's a lot of different teams getting to the conference finals. Like the finals this year could be the Knicks and the Timberwolves.
yeah.
Like
Could be
it
the
just doesn't make any
could be the
sense.
Pacers and the Timberwolves. If you saw a
Yeah.
Pacers Timberwolves finals matchup 5 years ago, you'd be like, "What 2K game are you playing?" Because that
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like,
depending on
and this is what people wanted, by the way. Like this is what everybody was begging for because the Warriors were so dominant for so long. LeBron was dominant for so long. They were like, we want to see somebody else that's not Steph or LeBron in the finals. And this is what the last 5 years have been. You've got your parity. Most likely, you won't see the a back-to-back champion for the last 5 years. So you get what you wanted, and hopefully everybody's enjoying that. It is a different way because we've kind of grown up under there's dynasties. You've got the Spurs dynasty, you had the Lakers when we were younger. You've got Warriors, Cavs. It was really Warriors or LeBron. So it's been kind of weird to see. It's a lot of different teams, like a lot of fan bases that haven't seen a
yeah.
championship before.
I think everybody is though so like they want it. They do want that dynasty to come because it seems
Yeah,
like every team that's won this decade right after they win it, they're like, "Oh, this might be a dynasty." Like when the Bucks won it, everybody was thinking, "Oh, this could be the Bucks era." And then that happened. And then, when Denver won it in 23, everybody was raving about how they were young, and now Denver hasn't been able to get back to that level. And then obviously Boston last year, everybody was like, "Oh, Boston's going to win the next
At least this
3."
year.
And
Yep.
now it's not looking like this year. And then if Tatum doesn't play next year, so
Not to mention, I guarantee if OKC ends up winning, the conversations will be the exact same. This is the next
yes,
dynasty. This is the next Warriors. Like those will be had, and maybe that one is more sustainable than the rest of them because they're all under the age of 25. It feels like, um, so maybe. But also, if they don't, then you're gonna be saying the same thing next year. Of well, if OKC wins next year, then it's like
yeah,
why don't we just base it off of who's good this year? Who's going to win in this next year? Like, who's going to win this year? We don't even know. Um, so yeah, I agree. I mean, the Warriors Timberwolves series that's basically over. The Steph being hurt in Game 1 kind of, I don't want to say tainted the series, but it definitely made it to where you knew the outcome. You just didn't know how many games it was going to be. Um, then the OKC Denver one is the one that's still up in the air. Game 5 happened last night. It was a close game. SGA showed up down the stretch. Nikola Jokic did that crazy ass fadeaway that he does against everybody to try to keep him in it, and it just wasn't enough down the stretch. But I think the biggest test to me for this OKC team, go close it out on the road. If you go close it out on the road, I'll have more confidence in you in this Western Conference Finals than if you were to have to go back home, because it would show more to me if you're able to go on the road and close in an environment like that where it's a must win, backs against the wall for Denver, and you go in there and take one from them, than it would be to just go back home for a Game 7 where your fans are at your back. It showed me more from a young team like OKC who hasn't been there and done it yet, and it would instill more confidence in me for a series against the Timberwolves, um, because the Timberwolves, they'll go into your place and they'll snatch it out of your heart, and they don't care. So I just need to see that from OKC in Game 6 for me to be confident that they can go to NBA Finals.
yeah. The weird thing about the Thunder is watching this series. Shea has had good games, but I still haven't seen that game where he just takes over. I know in Game 5 he had the two big shots towards the end, but it wasn't Shea who, when they were down like 11 or down by 10, because there was two different times when the Thunder were down by like 10 or 11 and they got back into the game. One of them was just Lou Dort, and he just caught fire, and there was nothing you could do about it. Which that just kind of shows you the difference in these two teams. Unfortunately, is the Thunder, they have a complete team. Like they have people to help out Shea, and unfortunately for Denver, as fun as this run has been, it just showed last night they just do not have enough help. I mean, Jokic, like that was one of the few moments where I've been like, I really feel bad for him. Um,
I saw in the Clippers series. That's the worst Jokic has ever played, and you wonder why. It's because they can double team him, and there's no consequences. He doesn't get 16 assists anymore because there's nobody that can hit a shot on the team. I mean,
yeah,
if you send a double, you are living with the results of Russell Westbrook shooting a three. And any team in the world will take that over whoever it was in 2023, which was
yeah, and
a plethora of shooters.
and maybe he'll find it in Denver, but it seems like that Russell Westbrook magic that he found against the Clippers has he's lost it, because last night he looked awful. He got two wide open threes in the corner and airballed them.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's just not his game. He's never been a shooter. Trying to create him as a shooter at the age of 35 or whatever he is, is insane. He's not a spot up guy. You can't just put him in the corner and be like, "Hey, hit a few threes for us tonight." It's
Yeah,
like you can get lucky on those occasionally, but if you're consistently asking him to do that, it's just not. That's not a good recipe for winning.
yeah,
He's an energy guy. He's needs to be on the ball. He needs to be the guy that's in there when Nikola Jokic is not, and that's how I thought they would use him. But now it's coming down to late games where you're like, he should not be on the same floor as Jokic. Like
yeah.
Jokic is the one player where he's like LeBron. LeBron picked out his teammates because he wanted guys who can shoot. And like in his years in Miami, there was always a guy like Shane Battier or Ray Allen or like you don't have those guys with Jokic, and you should because he's the one guy that can go 1-on-1 and you can't stop him. And if you decide to double team him, he's gonna find the open man. It's whether or not the guy can hit the shot or not. And if you don't have those guys, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing in that game 5 is they actually got a lot of really good looks
Yeah,
in the fourth quarter. Um, I don't know what's wrong with Jamal Murray. Um, I think it's got to be a mental thing because
I think it's whoever plays him physical. I think anybody that plays him physical, he can't handle. Like when you get Lou Dort, when you get Jaden McDaniels, when you get Anthony Edwards, like you get those guys. The Clippers didn't really have that. Like Norman Powell was not physical enough, or even Kawhi when he was on it. Like when you get physical guys like that just are in your face 24/7, he doesn't seem to handle it well, and he gets tired because he's bringing the ball up the floor and he's struggling to do that. And then it takes 15 seconds to get in the offense, and then by the time you're at that, you're getting a late shot. And it's not. It's just not good offense. For him. That's why you need a guy that's. Then I say the Nuggets need a guy that's a combo guard that can at least take the pressure off of Jamal, especially in these playoffs when, like, Andrew Nemhart can take the ball up if Tyrese Halliburton is getting hounded like that. You can find players throughout the series of most teams. The Warriors are the other team that doesn't have that. I mean, Jimmy can if you need him to, but I don't. You don't trust Pajimski taking the ball up the floor. It's Steph or really nobody. So it's kind of how it is with the Nuggets. It's a tough spot to be in.
yeah, but no, I mean this Thunder team. I mean their bench is phenomenal. Wiggins
Yeah.
has been hitting everything. Williams, their backup center, has been playing so physical with Jokic, and then he's been hitting shots. But yeah, man, this Thunder team is great. They're solid. Chet is awesome when Jalen Williams gets going. So I mean, you shook your head. I mean, I
I
like Chet. He's been getting bullied at times,
I
but
like
I
him.
I still I still think he's a good player. Last thing I'll say on the Nuggets side, and you got to tell me, I'm 50-50 on this, and it's again about MP. It's about Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. has obviously been a no-show. I mean, we're talking like 0 for 8, 1 for 9 games. Now I understand he's got the injury to the shoulder,
Game
but
four, he had a good game.
he had a good game 4. So
Game
like
four.
I'm confused because he has a bad game and it's because it's the shoulder. And then he has a good game there, but he's like, oh, he's back. So what is it? Does he have a bad shoulder? Or is it like how badly is it affecting him? And I'm seriously at the point to where does he need to come off the bench next game if it's hurting him that bad because he's not rebounding, he's not shooting well. What is the point in having Russell? You know what I think they should do is they should just start Peyton Watson because at least Peyton Watson is
Guard
hustling,
somebody. Yeah.
rebounding, and he'll guard somebody. So just roll him out there with the starting five, and then at least you get some help defensively. And you know what, Peyton Watson, he can knock down a three. He's shown it in these playoffs a time or two. So I really don't hate the idea of starting
Yeah.
Peyton Watson and kind of taking the load off of MPJ.
commend MPJ for trying because I know based off the reports he can't lift his shoulder above his head, so or his arm above his head, um, which doesn't make sense to me because he's still shooting the ball and he's still shooting it like he normally does. So like, it doesn't make sense in my head, but whatever. I commend him for at least playing through the pain. However, it comes to a point where if you're not yourself, if you're not the same player that you were when you weren't injured, are you now hurting your team more than helping by being on the floor? And he's getting to that point where it's kind of hard to tell. Like, yes, he had a great game four, but the other games have not shown me that. And if you can't consistently be you, then at what point are you now hurting your team because you're just wasting a spot on the floor rather than helping them? So, we're at that stage now where it's like, does the injury has to quit coming up. Are you a good player now in this moment, or are you not? And if you're not, then you need to sit down. And if you are, then hit a shot. We're in the playoffs. Everybody's hurt. There's a difference between injury and hurt. If you're hurt, play through it. If you're injured, get off the floor. That's what I always was told. NBA's a little different. People are still playing injured and just getting, as many IVs to cover it up as you can. It's got to that point where I'll leave it at that. Where if you're hurt, get off or stay on the floor.
Yeah.
If you're injured and you cannot play like you normally can, you're then detrimenting your team more than helping them,
Well, I mean,
fighting through the injury.
I hate to compare them, but the greats, Kobe and MJ and all those guys, they would always say, and you watch them in those interviews, if if you're good enough to play, like you're in there, no excuses. Like if you think you
Yeah,
can play, like if you have a bad game, it's not on the injury or you being hurt. Like if you say you're good to go, you're good to go. So
right.
that's why I'm like there. I've seen some people protecting him and being like, "Well, he's hurt," and I'm like,
Then don't play.
then, like if you're gonna go 1 for 9, do not play." Uh, So that's where I'm like, like
And
he's
it's
still
not even
good
the
enough
one
to
for nine.
play.
It because he can still shoot 1 for 9 healthy. It's the if you don't feel well enough to where a shot feels normal to you, or if you don't feel like oh, if it hurts every time you shoot the ball and you're like, damn, I don't know if I'll have it this game or if I can even be the same person, then don't play. That's the issue. I don't care what he shoots. If he's healthy, he can shoot 1 for 12 and also the next game come back and shoot what he did in game four.
Yeah.
It's the do you feel like yourself? If you do, go out there and play, or if you feel capable enough to contribute. If you do, go out there and try to contribute.
I just know I'm gonna get frustrated. He comes into this game 6 and drops like 25 points,
He
and
will.
then they go back to OKC and he goes 1 of 10, and people are like, "Oh, it was a shoulder," and I'm like,
Yeah.
he dropped 25
2 days ago.
in game 6, so it's not yeah and um but yeah anyways that series I think the Thunder get it. I think Denver does win game 6. I really do.
I want to see
Um,
OKC win Game 6 for their development as a team. If you think if not you, but if the people think that they're this dynasty waiting to happen, I need to see a big time road win, and this
yeah,
would be it for me. This would be it for me to solidify putting them in a tier as championship
yeah.
contenders fully.
Also, I thought about it last night, but it actually is perfect that the Thunder are up 3-2 because it's kind of like with the crazy games, it's all evened out because the Thunder really should have won game 1. They won game 2, should have won that game, and they should have won game 3. So there you go. And then the Nuggets should have won game 4, and then I thought they should have won last night. So I guess it's kind of
It's funny how it
overall
works out.
it's
Yeah.
overall I thought about it and I was like, well, as a fan, I'm like I can be frustrated all I want, but it's it's kind of evened out because I'm sure the Thunder were like, well, if Aaron Gordon doesn't hit that crazy 3 in game 1, so I was like, well, it's kind of evened out, I guess. Um,
Yeah, I mean, eventually in 7 games, the better team will prevail eventually. So it's just a matter of how long it takes. So We'll move on. The draft lottery was last night.
We're not
No,
talking
two
about
nights ago.
Warriors.
No, I mean, what are we going to talk about? Steph's hurt. Timberwolves. I mean, the more convincing, the more intriguing story would be, um, are the Timberwolves actually going to get to the NBA Finals, which is a big possibility, no matter who they face now. So, um, it
I tell you
sucks.
what, Thunder Timberwolves would be a heck of a series.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. I mean, whoever wins that would win the finals in my eyes. I mean, I don't care if the Knicks get there or not.
yeah,
Uh,
just Shea and Anthony Edwards,
Crazy.
um, two rising stars. Just be it. It'd be great. It would be
We talked
great.
about it weeks ago. If Anthony Edwards can go in there and take OKC and go to the NBA Finals and beat them to get there,
Oh man,
uncomfortable conversations.
if Anthony Edwards can beat that Thunder team,
With
yeah,
after this offseason, with what happened when you trade Karl Anthony Towns, and let's be clear, Julius Randle has had an incredible playoff run this year. I've never seen Julius Randle play this well. I don't know if it's because he's allowed to play one on one again and have those awful shots, quote unquote. Because in New York, he was supposed to go through Jalen and then kind of everybody else, and Julius Randle was supposed to be a piece instead of being the second option, which is pretty much what he is in Minnesota. It is treated everybody that in that trade about as well as you possibly could. We were dogging on the Timberwolves for that trade, but it's worked out for this season alone pretty well for both sides. So I guess we can say we were wrong about that one. But I just wanted to give
no,
a
I
quick
mean
shout out.
it worked out for the Knicks, so
Yeah, that's what I mean. It worked out for both teams.
yeah,
We were
yeah,
just dogging the Timberwolves because we were like, how the hell do you give up and only get Julius Randle?
yeah.
You know,
But wouldn't
but
it wouldn't it be wild if that was the finals?
right? Go see who actually won the trade. Go duke it
That
out
would
for
be
7 games.
awesome.
Let's go see. Yeah.
Wonder how many times that's happened where a team
Makes a
traded
blockbuster trade.
all stars for each other and they met each other in the finals. Not many,
Probably never.
not many, John.
You should work for ESPN there, Jim. I think that's a stat that only
It's a
them would pull out
stat.
of their ass.
We need to figure that out.
Um, the one I wanted to ask you about because we're done with the playoffs for now. We're getting closer to the NBA offseason, and I know this is not your favorite part, but this is what I want to talk about, so we're going to do it. The NBA draft lottery happened. The
Rigged.
the Dallas Mavericks had a 1.8% chance to win it. I think the Spurs had like a 6% chance because they were in the sixth spot. They ended up getting number 1 and 2. The Wizards and the Jazz and everybody that had the top 3 odds ended up falling out of the top 4. The order goes Mavericks, Spurs, Sixers, Hornets. Obviously, I want to know your thoughts on the actual lottery, and then we'll get into what this could mean potentially for future purposes.
My thoughts on the lottery.
Is it rigged?
Cooper Flag's going to go to the Mavericks.
Allegedly.
I did think about this, them trading that pick. And I was thinking, well, no way they can because then Mavs fans are going to riot. But it depends on who they get. If they go get a Giannis. But when you think about it, Anthony Davis has 2 more years on his contract. Kyrie is going to be out most of next year at the very least. So, if you go get Giannis, maybe that is you create that 2-3 year window. The reason why you got Anthony Davis in the first place. And that's kind of your core for a couple years or 3 years is Giannis, Anthony Davis, and Kyrie Irving, which it sounds pretty good if you can put a nice roster around them. But I also was thinking, why not have Cooper Flag draft him? And then I don't know if you would be as strong as if you had Giannis next year, but you would compete. If Cooper Flag turns into the rookie that he's supposed to be, you compete. And then when Anthony Davis leaves, you're still competing with Cooper Flag. Because, if you go get Giannis if you go get Giannis and the 2 years are up, then Giannis is going to be in his mid 30s, and then it's like if you didn't win anything, then it's like, well, now you have to rebuild immediately again and hope you get another number one pick. So, if you want my opinion, if I was Dallas, I would not trade the number one pick. I would keep Cooper Flag
That's
because
interesting.
if Cooper Flag is supposed to be the dude who everybody thinks eventual top five player, then you can still compete with him.
But
And
what if he's not?
yeah, yeah, that's the risk, and that's kind of what you have to believe.
So then my question is, do you think Cooper Flag is worth the risk of not having Giannis for at least 3 years or 4 years?
In in my opinion, yeah, because I
Okay.
love Cooper Flag. Like I do
Okay.
think he's going to be the real deal. So, but I totally understand the argument of
I'm not arguing against it. I
why
just
would
wanted
you
to.
not go after Giannis, who is a top five player, and just assume that Cooper Flag is going to turn into this guy? So I totally understand that argument.
Here's my thing. I think Cooper Flag is a great player. I think what has happened in this draft lottery is the perfect situation that could happen for Cooper Flag. You get to go to a team, whether it was the Spurs or the Mavericks, it didn't matter, that you don't have to be the guy immediately. You can be a second or third option, actually be a third option on both of those teams, and you can score 15 a night, and you can be the defensive player that you were going to be no matter what team you're going to be drafted on. So, like, you now have a defensive front court of Anthony Davis and Cooper Flag, or Victor Wembanyama and Cooper Flag. That is insane for any team trying to get in the paint, or really any team at all. Then you factor that with offensively, you don't have to be the guy. You don't have to shoot 25 shots a night. You're going to be limited to 10, 15 shot attempts a night, and you might get 12, 15 points a game, but there's no pressure on you being the guy when you first come out. I think that's the perfect situation for a guy like him. Because I don't think if the trade were to happen and the Mavericks were to trade number one, and we'll go through some trade scenarios here in a bit, I don't think him in Milwaukee with no help and nobody around him would be sufficient for, like, I don't think he would bode him well in the long run, and it's because I don't think he's a true number one um, for a championship team in even in 5 years. Like when Dame's contract runs out and he's finally in his prime, I don't think he could be that guy that takes you to a championship.
So
Either
you would do the
way,
trade. You would
I
if you were
if I'm the
Dallas.
Mavericks, yes, because I don't have a future. My window is now, and even if I have Cooper Flag, when Kyrie and Anthony Davis are done in 4 years, I'm stuck with Cooper Flag and nobody. Like I don't have anybody to build around him. I don't have any future picks because we gave all those up. I don't have any capital, like other than Cooper Flag being here. That's a good target for free agents, but that's about it. And you're hoping that you can at least win one with him to show, some sort of resemblance of why they, or some sort of justification as to why they would trade Luka. Nico Harrison got gifted this pick, and this is why people think it's rigged, is because you give up a generational talent in Luka to a major city like LA, and you get gifted the number one pick the very same year. Um, stories can't write this. Or people can't write these stories. So
Yeah.
it's, in my eyes, the NBA draft lottery as a whole is a good idea. It stops people from tanking because if you're the Utah Jazz, it was tank for Coop all year. Get the best odds, get the worst pick, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember the last time the best odds to get the number one pick have actually gotten it. It's been so long since they changed the system to where it's the top three get a 14% chance instead of the top one gets a 25% chance. And it just goes down the list because that's what it used to be. And that's when you'll see teams that were supposed to get the number one pick get at least the top three pick. But now it's kind of changed, and it's been for the better as far as the tanking purposes, or you would hope at least. And it's been bad because teams like this get gifted. You were just in the play-in, fighting for a playoff spot, and now you're getting the number one pick. So, you know,
I was really rooting for the Spurs to get it.
me too.
That I mean, Cooper, Flag, and Wembenyama on San
That's a
Antonio.
fun pair for the next 5 years, 10
Oh
years,
yeah,
20 years, like whatever you think that ceiling is. The future is set up for the both of them. I don't see that with the Mavericks. The Mavericks still have a 4 year window, and I don't think Cooper Flag changes that for you. Um, it'll set you up long term to have at least one player that is substantial that you can at least, say that we've got a guy you can come buy tickets to watch Cooper Flag, but I don't think it bodes well for Mavericks long term as well as they think it has.
another team that I think to be on the lookout for is Phoenix for that number one pick. If Dallas wants to make a move for like Devin Booker or Katie, I
It's a good
think
thing. So
I think that could happen.
let me ask you, because I only did trade mock-ups for Giannis specifically. I've got 5 teams that have
Okay.
done trades
Yeah,
for.
that's right. You wanted to do this. So
You're gonna act as the Bucks, but let me do this first because I didn't go this far. If you're the number one pick, if you're the Dallas Mavericks, who are you? Who would you? What would the player have to be able to give up a guy like Cooper Flag? Does it have to be
yeah,
Devin
he
Booker?
would have to be I mean at the very least an all-star. I mean, we're talking like we're talking about a guy who can lead you to the finals because in the Mavericks' eyes with Kyrie and Anthony Davis, all you need is one more like go-to scorer, right? And then you have your big three, and if they can, depending on like who they keep around the roster, um, then I mean Mavericks can contend. If you have, like I said, Devin Booker on that Mavericks team with AD and Kyrie, and you can have some Derek Lively. I think they can make it work. So
Here's why I think they won't, and I think it goes back to the AD trade, which is they must believe in AD so much that they think he's a number one. So then my thing is, if
well,
you've
they're
got a number one,
delusional.
well, they are, and we saw that when he traded Luca. But if he really feels that way, then you've got your one, you've got your two in Kyrie. I would just keep Cooper Flag because he's on a rookie deal. You don't have to pay him $40 million like you would if you traded for one of these guys, which means you can keep guys like Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, Klay Thompson. Those guys will be gone if you trade for Giannis. So, in my eyes, if I'm the Mavericks, if you really think that AD is this number one guy, then you've got to keep this pick and at least keep the role players that you need to really solidify this thing. You're now having Klay Thompson be a fourth option and just pretty much a spot up shooter, which at this point in his career is probably the best, but also that is a luxury to have.
Yeah,
If you're the
100%.
Mavericks. So, and I'm keeping them if I'm Dallas. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through these picks. You are the Milwaukee Bucks general manager, Mr. Matthew Hargrove. I'm going to be every team
You
that
didn't
wants
say
Giannis.
congratulations
Well,
on the new job.
congratulations, Mr. Matthew Hargrove, on the
Thank
new
you.
position with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Thank you.
Your first order of business is you will be fielding offers
Trade Giannis.
from every team to see if you want to trade Giannis and if you would take this trade, yes or no. Let me give you.
First of all, I want to give a little bit of a rundown on what the contracts look like for Milwaukee. So
Please.
we have Damian Lillard, who is going to be out next year, I would assume, towards ACL. That's a year.
Towards Achilles.
Towards Achilles.
I think it was his Achilles, right?
I would say he's out for a year.
At least.
So
Especially
Lillard,
at 35.
Lillard is going to be paid $54 million to sit on the bench. And then he's got, after that, a player option of $58 million, which he will 100% at the age of 36 years old take. Nobody's going to pay him that money. So he is guaranteed to be a Milwaukee Buck for another 2 years. Giannis has got 2 years, and then he's got a player option when he turns 33 at 63 million. I guarantee you he's going to take that. I would be stunned if anybody wants to give him more than that. So you got Dame for 2, really for 1. Giannis has still got 3 years. Nah. Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah, we didn't say this was a good job. We paid you a lot of money to take
Kuzma.
this job so you could fix this
That's
mess.
fine. Kyle Kuzma, for his 30 and 31 years, getting paid around 21 million in each year. Brooke Lopez is gone. He's a free agent. I'm not gonna sign him back. And then Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, Kevin Porter Jr.'s all got player options. So the brunt of the money is going to Kuzma, Giannis, Lillard. And one of those guys won't play next year, and the other is I don't want to be disrespectful. He shouldn't be a top 3 guy paid on your team. Let's just say that. With that being said, what is the first offer?
So I want to. I'm your secretary now. And my name is. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what my name is. I've got 6 teams on the line for you, Mr. Hargrove. And I want to know which one you want to take first. I've got
So
the
I'm Brad
OKC
Pitt.
Thunder.
I'm Brad Pitt, and you're Jonah Hill.
Yeah, I'm Jonah Hill. You've got 6 teams on the line. First team.
Pyro.
Actually, I'll let you pick which team you want to hear from first. I've got the OKC Thunder. I've got the Houston Rockets. I've got the San Antonio Spurs. I've got the Dallas Mavericks. I've got the Atlanta Hawks and the Brooklyn Nets. Who would you like to hear from first, Mr.
Yeah,
Hargrove?
let's definitely go to Sam Presti, see what he's got to say.
All right. Hey, Mr. Hargrove, congratulations on the new gig. I've got a little business I want to get forward with you. Obviously, you didn't congratulate me yet on winning the NBA Finals, so I'd like to hear that first.
You guys lost to Denver, I believe.
Okay.
Second round. Remember Shea choked in Game 7?
And that's why we're calling, because we'd like to offer a trade. Obviously, Giannis is wanting out. We both know it. He doesn't want to say it because he's nice and he wants to let you all have a little bit of leverage.
Gotcha.
But you know he wants out. He's going to come out west, so you might as well give him to the best offer anyway. You don't want him in the east anyway. So hear me out. What if I give you Lou Dort,
Okay.
Nikola Topic, Chet Holmgren, 3 guys that makes the money work. I'll also throw in Kyron Williams just to even out the money, keep us in that first apron. I'll also give you 4 first-round picks. That will be the first-round pick in 2025.
4 first-round picks.
We've got 2 of them in 2025. One of them is a late first. It's a first-round pick in 2026 and 2027.
I mean, that sounds pretty solid. We got, you said 4 first-round picks.
Mm-hmm. One of which is a late first, so it's really 3 first-round picks.
We got Lou Dort. So, the big thing is, if we make this trade, then Giannis is off the book, so we don't have to worry about all that money. Now, the worst thing about the Bucks situation is they have to pay Damian Lillard. There's no trading him. They're not going to be able to. So they have to pay that $54 million. So Lou Dort has got he's owed, we get him for 1 season, then he's got a team option of $17 million, which I think I would take with Lou Dort. Pretty solid defensive player. And then Chet, he's got a team option coming up for the next 2, and then we're going to have to sign him at age 25. I mean, I
it
like
gives you that
Chet.
young star.
Who else was in that trade?
Nikola Topic is the guy they drafted last year. I'm sorry, the guy we drafted last year. We're really high on him, but he did tear his ACL, which is why he didn't play all year. He was supposed to be a top 10 pick of last year's draft, overseas point guard, really solid playmaker.
Gotcha.
We don't want to give him up, but we felt we didn't want to disrespect you in a trade scenario.
I
So
gotcha. I think if you threw in, I don't want Topic. I want either Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, or I want Jalen Williams. And then I would say we got a deal. I want one of those.
if I
And
take out the,
and this is fair because you're getting Giannis. Like Giannis can make up for the depth. That's I think if I was the Bucks GM, that's what I would
you would
be asking
counter.
for.
Okay.
One of those guys. It
Well,
would
if
be
you counter with that,
preferably Aaron Wiggins, but he's locked in pretty good.
so I'm saying Presti. So you don't want to hear any other offers from any other team. You'll just take that one right
No,
away.
we'll take it, but I'll call you back.
Okay,
I'm just saying
fair enough.
yeah, I'll call you back, and if you change your mind, then you might get in with the other teams. I got some pretty nice offers on the other lines, so
Okay. Well, I'll look at the.
I just want to get you into the running and make you feel important.
I'll get you. I'll look at the counter, and you call me back when you figure it out.
Okay, hold on. Spurs are calling me. 1 second. See ya.
Okay.
See ya. What's your name? Sam?
Okay. That's disrespectful. Okay, Spurs on the line. Hey Matthew, congratulations on the new job. Blah 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 blah. I've got a trade offer for you that I really think you'll like. I know a lot of teams are in the running, so I really want to make this offer worth it. I'll be quick. Giannis, we want. I'll give you Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Shohan, a first round pick, and Stephon Castle.
And Stephon Castle. Okay, that was the kicker. I was afraid you were going to leave the.
I know you're going to ask for him, so I might as well throw him in there.
I was afraid that you were. So we get the first round pick this year, or your number 2 overall pick.
It would actually be a 2026 first round pick because we can't give up both Stephon Castle and the number 2 pick this year. That's insane.
I think you can.
Okay.
I think you can because we're talking Giannis Antetokounmpo, and if I give you Giannis, you guys are competing for a finals. So, and think about it. If you make this trade, it's essentially you guys just taking Giannis in the draft this year, pretty much.
And giving up Stephon Castle.
Correct, but you get Giannis.
That's the rookie of the year.
You're getting an MVP.
Okay. So your counter is
My counter there is the number 2 overall pick.
with Stephon Castle and the contracts to make it work.
Keldon Johnson and
the first round pick in 2026. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to think about that. So give me just a minute, and I'll let you field some other calls.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Who's next we've got Houston on the line. You want to take them?
Let's go, Houston. Let's see what they have to say. I don't think I'm going to like it, to be honest with you.
Well, you might know. Who knows? Let's get him on the line. All right. Poor man's Daryl Morey. How you doing? This is congratulations on your promotion. Let's cut to the chase. Giannis, we will give you Jalen Green.
No.
Hold on. Mr. Hargrove, please. You've been in here for a day. Let's not disrespect players like that. Jalen Green, Reed Shepard,
Jalen Green drop in Game 7.
Sir, can I finish? Sir, will you let me at least finish the trade proposal before we start disrespecting players?
Okay. Me disrespecting players. You're trading for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and your first player that you mentioned took 8
an all-star,
shots in Game 7.
Well, that was just because the system we have him in. I think the coach used them poorly.
Oh, the coaching.
Me and Ema are going to talk it out.
Coaching. How could I? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, the coaching. You hired him, didn't you?
Are you done, sir? Okay. Jalen Green, Reed Shepard, Jabari Smith, 3 first-round picks.
My God. 3 first-round picks.
You get our pick this year. You get 2027, 2 first-round picks in that year.
Gotcha. I think I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Not a believer in Jalen Green.
What would it take from this Houston Rockets team for you to be a little bit more?
I don't think there's anybody. Anybody that you would give me.
I wouldn't. What if I switch out Amin Thompson for Jalen Green?
Now we're talking possibly. I'm gonna have to
Okay.
get back to you.
I don't know if I'll do that. So you're gonna have to give me a minute, but because Amin's a
I
big
think that's
big
what it
part
would
of this
take.
future.
I like that idea better than
Well,
Jalen
how about you
Green.
tell me what it takes? Is it
It's Thompson.
everything else is fine?
Thompson will get you in the ballpark.
Okay, fair enough. That's good to know. All right. Well, I'll call you back later when I figure it out.
All right.
Sir, you also have the Dallas Mavericks on the clock. I'm sorry, not on the clock. They are on the clock, but they are on the phone as well.
Okay.
Put them through? Okay. I guess
Yeah, let's see
fucking
what the
Atlanta then.
Mavericks got. Let's see what the Mavericks have.
All right, all right. Hey, Mr. Hargrove, congratulations, first of all. You know why we're here. Let's not sugarcoat it.
Nico! Man, how much
Yeah.
did you pay Adam Silver, man? That's crazy.
Listen, man, really, we're going to give them to you because I said, just get me Giannis in any way you can, and this is how he gave it to me. So we're going to give you the best offer out of any of these teams.
All right.
I know you've got a few calls from a few other places. So
number one pick.
obviously, yeah, it's going to take that, obviously, and then we got to make the contracts work. So you're going to get some deals, but they are expiring, so that's the plus. We're going to give you Daniel Gafford. We're going to give you P.J. Washington, Klay Thompson, and Max Christie. There's your young star to build around. Dwight Powell might have to also be in the deal just for the money to work. And then we'll give you, obviously, this year's pick and 2026 first-round pick.
All right.
So you get Cooper Flagg, Max Christie, Daniel Gafford, P.J. Washington. That at least gets people's butts in the seats for this year for the Milwaukee Bucks.
And then next year's first-round pick.
And next year's first-round pick. Which...
And your second round.
We can throw in a second-round fucking pick if you need it. There, Jeffrey Johnston. I don't know what else you need from me, Hargrove.
Gotcha.
It's the meat and potatoes of the. You can throw in seconds all you want.
I got the Lakers on the line, so I'm gonna have to call you back.
I didn't know they were on this list.
I think they're trading Luka.
Oh, that's pretty stupid.
Hey, well, out of those four, I think those are the four teams that give the best offers.
Hold on. You'll wait till you see what we got here.
What's the last one?
We've got two more.
Okay, what's the other one?
We've got Atlanta Hawks. Don't. He wants to stay in the East. Ring, ring, ring. This is Atlanta Hawks. Hey, Hargrove, congratulations. You know Giannis wants to stay in the East. I know you don't want to trade him in the East, but this is why he should get here. One, because if he's outwardly saying it, then he will not sign with the West, which then takes the value down of all those teams. So let me give you this. Jalen Johnson, Zachary Richardson, 3 first-round picks. You get the former number 1 overall pick.
What'd you say?
Jalen Johnson, who is a budding star. He makes the money work. Zachary Richardson was a number 1 overall pick, showed huge upside in this year.
The number 1 pick showed upside.
And 3 first-round picks. You got 2025, 2026, and 27.
Gotcha. Thanks for the call, Jim.
Okay, we got the Brooklyn Nets on the clock next. Do you want to take their call? I think you might want to hear this one.
Why not? Can't be worse than Atlanta.
Okay, we got Mr. Hargrove. How you doing? We've got. We'll give you something that you don't have. Let's be clear. We're only here because we've got 30 picks over the next 5 years, and you want at least some of those. So let me let you have them. We'll give you Nick Claxton, Cam Johnson, 5 first-round picks, 3 seconds.
Claxton and Cam Johnson, 5 first-round picks, including this year's.
Including both of this year's, which is pick, I believe it's 8 and 19.
Understood. Let me see.
And then, of course, you get 2026 and then 2 first-rounders in 2027. And let's be clear, I mean, I didn't really go over the picks on the other teams. 2026 is Brooklyn's pick. 27 is Philadelphia and New York.
Yeah. It's intriguing.
Just give me a seat at the table there, Mr. Hargrove.
Yeah, you got.
That's all I'm asking for.
You got a seat.
Just know that we've got 4 first-round picks this year, and we've got about 8 over the next 4 years.
Gotcha. I'll call you back.
Just want to throw it out there. Okay.
Sorry, back.
All right. So now I'm your secretary again. Um, so Hargrove, out of those 6 teams, obviously we threw out the Hawks because that was just disrespectful in every way imaginable.
Didn't like I didn't like the Hawks offer.
Yeah, they didn't even like their own offer. They saw Trae Young and Giannis, and they go, "Well, who else are we going to put around them?" So,
yeah.
um, they were
Um,
halfway in.
I'm not huge into the Houston offer.
Okay, we can take them off the table.
So I like the Mavericks because we get Cooper Flag.
Right.
But if I do, the thing is like if I get Cooper Flag, I'm gonna have to go full rebuild. So like I would trade Kuzma, for picks or something. I would just let it eat. I actually do like the OKC because I get picks.
And
Um,
you get Chet.
I already told you I like Chet. Dort's a nice piece. Um, and we also get some picks that we can grow. Chet's still young, and
And those are the Clippers picks. Those are the Clippers first round picks. So, you know,
yeah. What was the
we'll
other
see
one I'm
if
forgetting? San
it's
Antonio.
the Spurs. So
Yeah,
you
the
get Stephon
Spurs.
Castle, the
So pretty
second
much
pick, which
Ace
is Dylan
Bailey. I
Harper.
get Ace Bailey. Did
I
we
think it's gonna be Dylan Harper.
or sorry, Dylan Harper.
So you get your
Um,
guards for the next, or you can pick Ace Bailey. I mean, you're the GM. It's whoever you want to pick.
well, yeah, Dylan Harper. I was thinking Ace Bailey was projected first or projected second, but so yeah, I
I
get
mean,
my
you're the GM if you want to.
I get my backcourt. I get my backcourt with Harper and
For the next 15 years.
Stephon Castle.
And you get
Um,
Shohan, so you get your 4 back.
yeah,
So you get, you got Shohan. Keldon Johnson is a nice piece. But that's because we need to make the money work. Stephon Castle, 2 first round picks. I mean, one is this year, and you get a 2026 pick.
I think I'm down actually between the Thunder and the Maverick.
Okay. So we're throwing out the. Who are we throwing out? I forget.
We're throwing out the
So the net.
Rockets. We're throwing out the Hawks, the Nets. Um, I like the Nets, but I don't like the players. Like I like Cam Johnson, but I wanted like because if I'm the Bucks making this trade, I still
You need
feel like
you need a proven.
if I get the right trade, I still feel like we can compete in the East. So, like that's the thing. Like if I make that trade with the Thunder and I have Chet and Dort, like, and I get a pick, and we pick some really good rookie in the draft this year, then we're kind of right there. When's the Thunder's first pick this year?
Let me look it up. I know it's probably going to be 30 ish,
Well, do they not
but
have
it wouldn't be their pick. So it'd be Miami's pick, which is 15. So it'd be the number 15 pick in this year, and it would be a 2026 first round pick, but it wouldn't be Philadelphia's or Utah's. It would be OKC's pick.
Gotcha.
So
So
you'd be
that
looking at 15 and around 28 next year, roughly.
gotcha.
Instead of because Philadelphia's projected a top 5 pick next year, and Utah's projected a top 10 pick next year. So they're keeping those, but they'll give you their first round pick as like a cherry on top.
Gotcha. Well, then, honestly, I've been saying a bunch of Cooper Flag stuff. If I want to compete, I think the best one would be the Thunder. I get picks. I get Chet. Um, I get Dort. And then, did you offer me? Did they offer me the first that Miami Heat pick?
They did. They offer the Heat pick, so they give you 15 this year, um, and but they're not going to give up Joe or Wiggins, but they
Jalen
are willing.
Williams.
They're willing to listen to Jalen Williams, the center Jalen Williams. That
Well,
is.
I would say that is the only way I'd get this deal done. If I would say I have a deal lined up with Dallas. It's good to go. We're getting Cooper Flag. But if you want Giannis Antetokounmpo, you got to give me Jalen Williams. That's what I would say, and make sure you have that pick from this year. So we get Chet, Lou Dort. I mean, who's going 15 this year? That's not a terrible pick. There's been guys selected 15th overall that end up being all stars. So,
We can't give up Jalen Williams.
all right.
We can't.
So,
because we're giving up Chet.
sorry. Not Jalen Williams. I'm sorry. Not Jalen Williams. Williams, Arkansas Williams, off the bench.
His name is also Jalen Williams.
Did we get those mixed up? I was talking about Jalen Williams.
I know you're not going to get J-Dub. I'm not offering all-star
Okay.
Jalen Williams.
Okay.
But I'm also not I'm not giving up.
All right, you guys love
Arkansas
your bench that much.
Do you know why? Because we're giving up Chet, and we can't just have Hartenstein as our big man and have no shooting. Jalen Williams at least
You're
gives
gonna
us
have
shooting.
Giannis.
There's no shooting. I can't
I mean,
have
you have
Giannis,
Shea.
Hartenstein, and Shea as my three guys. Yeah, defensively that's awesome, but offensively it'll be a struggle to get some space for Shea. We still got to get.
You don't think a starting five of Shea, Hartenstein, Giannis, who else you got in there?
Jalen Williams.
Jalen Williams, and I mean, you guys can sign a point guard and then have Wiggins, Caruso, and Case and Wallace.
Isaiah
you don't
Joe.
Think, and Isaiah Joe, you don't think that's good enough to get it done?
How about this? I'd give up Case and Wallace instead of Jalen Williams.
Well, do you want
We
Giannis
need a
or
big
not?
that can shoot.
Well,
We need a big that can shoot.
Well, do you want Giannis or not?
Let me rework the deal then.
No. This is the deal.
No, here's the deal. Do you want a future or not?
You have the player. You have what I want. This is the deal.
How about this then? You can take Cooper Flag and live out the next 15 years living in fucking hell because you don't have a second guy to back him up. I'm giving you young stars.
Rebuild. So after you spend all these years getting close, but no cigar.
With what picks? You've got New Orleans Pelicans first round pick swap next year. You've got pick swap for New Orleans again in 2027 and Portland swap in 2028. You have 0 picks to work with. We're giving you picks, and you're arguing over Jalen Williams, the center from Arkansas.
Case and Wallace.
That's a done deal.
All right, I think we're gonna go with that. So that's what we're doing. Giannis.
Here's the thing, though. I don't think OKC makes a trade if they win. Why would they?
You don't think they win if they do this deal?
I don't think they make the trade offer if they win the finals. If we're speaking about this year, if they win this year, I don't think they make the trade for Giannis.
Why would they? Why would they?
So this is in case the fact that they lose to Minnesota in the Western Conference Finals, and they're giving up Chet, who is a young shooter, to pair. So like your starting lineup would be Shea, J-Dub, Isaiah Joe, or Wiggins, or whoever as a shooter, and Giannis and Hartenstein. Giannis and Hartenstein together is tough because the reason Giannis works is because he's got Brook Lopez on the other side. That's why if Victor and Giannis got together, it'd be insane the amount of coverage they could play a 3-2 zone, and Giannis and Victor could just stretch their arms and cover the entire back line.
Yeah.
Like that is defensively it's disgusting, and Victor can shoot, so it frees up Giannis offensively. I think we lost you.
You got me.
Okay, I think we do now.
You got me.
Now we got you. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, I can see you.
Sorry. Yes, it would be.
No, you're good. So the back line of Giannis and Victor would be gross. I don't think giving up your entire future, I think a Spurs lineup of Fox, Castle, and Dylan Harper is so much better for their future. But you can't go wrong either way. And maybe you don't have to give up both Castle and in the second pick. If you can swindle just giving up the second pick or Castle, one or the other, then maybe. But yeah, it's there's a lot of intriguing offers out there, and trying to find the best one without giving up too much. Maybe OKC gives up too much in that trade. I don't know, but um, I don't think first round picks can do it if you give up somebody like Hartenstein or you know just somebody for the money to work. Not with other teams giving up maybe Cooper Flag or the second pick. Either way, though, the Giannis sweepstakes are in full effect, and we are slowly but surely somehow in the playoffs, but yet also in the off season already. So who knows if we get there? And obviously trades can't be done until the season's over. So we'll see what happens, but it could get interesting. Sir Hargrove has selected the OKC route, and we applaud him for that. And OKC would be the clear favorite in 2026 if that were to happen. But there he goes again. We've lost him. Lost him for good. Cold world. All right, we had some technical difficulties there towards the end. Grove lost a little bit of connection, so we're just going to end it now. And there he is. He's back now. I was just clearing up some of the...
My phone's gone haywire, so I apologize.
We've gone rogue.
What's up?
You're sideways.
There we go.
See if you can flip it with your camera. Is it not going with you?
Mm-mm. Phone's gone haywire for the last 30 minutes.
I was just saying that the Giannis sweepstakes are in full effect, and obviously you went the OKC route. We'll see what they take, and if it wasn't them, it's probably going to be the Spurs, based off of what I could feel from you. But you can't go wrong with Cooper Flag either. So we'll see where Giannis ends up. It could really shake up the West and kind of lean towards that 1 versus 16 instead of having conferences in my eyes. So we'll see how it shapes out. But until we get there, we'll talk about that when it actually happens. We just wanted to get in on the sweepstakes a little early and try to predict what's going to happen, but we don't know. So he could stay out in the East, and Brooklyn could give up 15 first-round picks for all we know. But for right now, Giannis is a buck. The Timberwolves are probably going to beat the Warriors, and we'll see if they get to a championship against the Knicks. We'll talk about the playoffs next week when we come back, but until then, Mr. Hargrove, I appreciate you stepping in as interim GM of the Milwaukee Bucks.
It's an honor.
For our session, and we'll see you all next week.